Good day everyone, Garage King here, and today we are going to review the Launch CRP919E scanner. I purchased it from Amazon off King Bolin was the seller. Now, why did I get this? Well, you know what? I did have a CRP429 and I really liked it. It was a really good scanner. The only thing is it was getting kind of dated and actually it needed updates. So while it was still working, I wanted to get a bi-directional scanner because the CRP429 is not bi-directional. So I felt the CRP919E would fit the bill. It came with a bunch of adapters, so I guess no matter where I travel around in the world, I'm going to be able to plug it in and charge it. And one of the things I like the best, I mean, call me a little bit nerdy, but I love this box that it comes in. So this way you can keep your cords and everything in the top part of the box. You can lock it up. And as you can see in the bottom of the box here, there's this very dense foam that houses the scanner and protects it. So I really like the way it's boxed, definitely not cheap. Now the scanner itself does not feel cheap. I like the rubber, I guess, edges on it. The manual, we'll flip through it real quickly because you know what, who reads manuals? All I'll say about the manual is it was very easy to understand. So if anyone really likes spending a lot of time reading manuals, you can get by with the manual and you will have no problem. So I was actually surprised at how well the manual was written. Anyway, let's keep moving along so we don't waste a lot of time. Let's plug it in. Here you can see the welcome screen. So it welcomes me to the CRP919E. And then once it was plugged in, started up, I just had to update it. And then once it finished updating, I was able to go into the reset function. So here you can see we have engine power balance monitoring diagnosis. Let's hit the back button, let's go back. And then here you can see tons of reset features and things you can do. Like here's coolant bleed, so that can come in handy. So it does a lot. But in order to really check it out, you know what? Let's try it out in the actual car and see what happens. Because one of the main reasons I bought this thing was because it's bi-directional. Now, anyone that knows bi-directional scanners knows it can get very expensive. This one was not. It's actually quite affordable. The VIN function works just fine, so I was happy with that. And one of the great things this scanner does, but I must say my CRP429 actually did it very well too, is a health report. Now simply, all that is it'll go through every module that is in your car, so body control module, your ECM, ABS, all your modules, and it will tell you if there's any fault in any of the modules. Now, it does take a little bit of time, so what I've done here is I've just sped up the video so you can see all of the different modules it's checking. Now, once again, this isn't the reason I bought the scanner because my CRP429 did it just as well. The reason I bought it was for the bi-directional ability. That's what I really wanted to do. So we're in our Honda Civic, so what I can do is just go in Honda right now, and then I'm going to try to get into the computer itself, and let's see what type of actuation tests we can actually do. Because to me, that's where the money is. Now, don't get me wrong, this scanner is not cheap, but in terms of a bi-directional scanner, it is much more cost affordable than many bi-directional scanners out there on the market. It was actually one of the cheapest bi-directional scanners I could find. So here you can see now we're into service function, which on the cheaper scanners is equivalent to the reset functions. So these are a lot of reset, gear calibration, stuff like that. But once again, I'm going back to it again. What I really wanted to do is the actuation test. So here you go. I'm getting into the engine computer and let's check out the actuation tests. Now here, it doesn't just list a bunch of them. It'll list what the car can actually do. So you just see I hit actuation test here. Now let's check the radiator fan. Take a look at this. All right, so radiator's working good. You know what? Let's check the AC clutch. Listen to this. All right, so we know our AC clutch is working really well. Now, to me, this is hugely important for diagnosis. Now, why is this so important? Well, because sometimes it's not easy to test things. And this way, if you can activate them, it really comes in handy. The other thing is on the right side, I really like the buttons. And there's a home button, so if ever you get lost, all you do is press it and it'll take you right home. So really easy and a great feature to have. Now here I'm going into the live data, but I don't want to just show you like oxygen sensor voltages and stuff like that because everyone shows you that. So let's show you something different. Here I have the passenger side front seat weight. So here you can see I'm pushing on the seat and the weight is changing. So the sensor is recognizing the weight. Now my arm is not certified for the exact amount of pressure that I'm pushing on the seat, but I can tell you it was probably pretty close. So let's go in here and see about door locks. Let's try this. So let's unlock the doors. And there you go. So you know what? Let's lock all the doors. If we unlocked them, should be able to lock them. Let's check it out. And there you go. Now I found this activation for gauges, so I want to see exactly how it checks my gauges. So let's go into the actuation test for the gauges and see what it does. And I was actually quite amazed and impressed. Take a look at this. So there you can see the gauge going right up. All the lights are flashing. And it's doing a complete test on the gauges. And if you noticed, even the temperature gauge, the kilometers up top, everything digital, it was testing that as well. Check the wipers. First of all, let's see if we can get some windshield washer fluid on the windshield. There you go, that worked good. So now can we turn on the actual wipers to clean them? Let's try. And there you go. Now I'm not gonna keep showing you tests all day, but what was really interesting is I even found one for the left turn signal and the right turn signal. So that was pretty cool. So all I want to say is there are a bunch of actuation tests at your fingertips. Here we're back into the live data. And keep in mind, most scanners will have exactly the same data streams. There really is not much of a difference. So this one here, you can see there's our catalyst temperature there. It's about 380 degrees, somewhere around there. And you can graph it. Now, most scan tools will be able to do this, but like I said, what I really want to just accentuate with this is for the price, all of the actuation tests that it does do, because that really does help a lot with diagnosis. Here you can see, here's the engine RPM. So that's kind of a neat graph. Give it a little rev there, give the old Honda rev, and you can see there exactly how I revved it, and it tells you the RPM. So that's really neat. Everyone has problems with HO2 sensors going a lot of times. Very, very common problem with oxygen sensor codes. So you can graph that as well. Now here, if you look at the bottom, you can see AC clutch is off. I'm gonna turn on the defrost and it should come on. And there it did. So excellent. Now it does have an IM readiness test, so that's pretty cool. So if you have to take your vehicle in to get smog tested or anything like that, it can help you with that. There's a MUL button here, and within this section you will find software you probably don't need unless you have a VinFast, which is a new electric car company, or maybe a McLaren. I've heard of McLaren, but the other ones I haven't even heard of them. And lastly, I figured I'd show off the camera here so you can see, you can take pictures. It's kind of weird filming a camera within a camera, but if you look, it's actually very, very clear, which is very handy if you're trying to take pictures of things. You just never know. So anyway, very, very handy feature to have. I really like that. And the other thing is, I should say, you can actually search Google, and it's got a great browser. You can search on the internet. Now here, just for fun, I turn the injectors off. So it obviously worked because the car will not start. So how am I going to fix that? Well, I'm going to have to reset the ECM. So once I reset the ECM and crank the car again, it should actually start now. Let's take a listen. So I'm very happy with my purchase, and if you're looking for a bi-directional scanner, the CRP919 should definitely be in the running. See you all next week.